If you are a new wedding celebrant or about to train as a wedding celebrant and you're thinking about creating a new wedding celebrant website, then stop. Please wait until you listen to these 7 key features to a winning website for celebrants. My name is David Willis and I'm a multi-award-winning wedding celebrant and founder and principal trainer to Celebrant Training School. I'd like to tell you about the 7 key features of a winning wedding celebrant website. In order to make it easy for everyone to remember, I fitted it to an acronym of winning, W-I-N-N-I-N-G. So let's dive in and find out what those 7 key features are. So W is for words for mobile. Now, whether you are paying somebody to create a website for you, whether you are creating it yourself using a website builder, then it's really important to make sure that you don't have too many words on your website. Now, why is that? Well, most people will only spend about 45 seconds on your website before moving off. So you've got to grab people's attention really, really quickly. And yes, words are really important, but they need to be brief and they need to be to the point. Remember that whilst you might be creating or building your website on a laptop or on a PC, 95% of all couples who do their wedding planning will be doing it on their phone. And so consequently, the words that you need to be putting onto your website need to be so brief that actually you can get the message across on a mobile viewing of your new website without you having to do any scrolling whatsoever. The first I is for inspiring images. Now, couples doing their wedding planning will be doing so with their heart, and you've got to sell and inspire them with heartfelt images. When you're a new wedding celebrant, obviously you won't have any photos of yourself doing wedding ceremonies. So instead, when you go to places like Pexels, Unsplash or Pixabay to get stock photos for your website, just get really lovely photos that inspire couples to a beautiful wedding ceremony. So different things like the bridal entrance, images of couples saying their vows to each other, or images of couples doing the ring exchange, or of course the kiss after the ring exchange, or perhaps their exit. What you need to have is you need to have images which inspire and draw people in so that they see your website and think, yes, this is the sort of thing that I want to create. Now, what we unfortunately see time and time again is celebrant websites that have far too many pictures of the celebrant. Now, although obviously you've got to have some photos of yourself as the celebrant, because after all, couples are buying you, your personality and your services. However, a really great wedding celebrant is not in lots of wedding photos. They step out of the way, and couples are wanting you to create a beautiful, heartfelt and personalized wedding ceremony. They're not purchasing your services so that you can be in all their wedding photos. And so consequently, make sure that where you are in those photos, you also have lots of other ceremony photos where you're not in them. The other thing you need to be aware of is that couples either consciously or subconsciously will look at a website and they will want to see people like them. So consequently, if you want to offer your services to a wide variety and a diverse group of people, you need to have images of couples who are diverse. So what I mean by that is young couples as well as older couples, couples of different ethnicity, mixed gender and same-sex wedding couples. You need to make sure that you've got lots of different varieties in there if you want to appeal to lots of different people. Because as I said, people will look at the website and if they see people like them, then they will be drawn to you and feel that they can trust you doing the right thing by them. Our first N is for new content with blogs and Instagram feed. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, basically, you've got to make sure that in order to achieve good search engine optimization, you've got to constantly have new content and fresh images in your website. The easiest way of doing that is to have a blog facility to your website. So again, when you are going out and looking for a potential new website, make sure it has a blogging facility, because blogging is a great way of creating new content all the time to your website. You can also add tags to it, fill it with keywords, which again all help with your search engine optimization. And then also, given that as a wedding celebrant you will be putting time and effort into really good Instagram social posts, what you need to do is you need to make best use of that and make sure that the website that you are choosing to have can have an integration with Instagram, so that your feed is pulled constantly into your website. That way, images will always be up to date, and it gives a freshness to your website, which again is what you're trying to do in order to improve search engine optimization. Our second N is for nurturing contact buttons. Remember, the whole point of a wedding celebrant website is to create contact between client couples looking for somebody to write and deliver a beautiful personal wedding ceremony, for them to contact you. So you've got to have buttons on your website that create that easy access to you. So it's not enough simply to have, a contact me right at the bottom of their page or in the top right hand side. What you've got to have is buttons all the way through your feed, which basically focus on two really important calls to action. The first one is for people to contact you to check your availability. Now, why is that important? It's important because you've got to give a sense of urgency to couples to make sure that they contact you, because after all, if they contact you about a particular wedding date and it's a popular weekend in the summer, then they're going to have to do it sooner rather than later, otherwise you're going to get booked up. The second thing is you want them to make it nice and easy to book a video call with you. And again, if you have a button that links to some sort of facility where they can book in with you nice and easily, on my website, they click onto my book a call with David button, and it takes them through to Calendly, so they can instantaneously look at my diary, look at their diary, and click an opportunity to have a video call with me. And it makes it really, really easy. And of course, that's what you want to be doing, because couples tend to do wedding planning in short periods of time when they get the opportunity. Remember, they're highly likely to be very, very busy, both working full time. They might even have a young family as well. And so consequently, they try to get as much done as possible in the shorter amount of time. And so if they go onto your website and with one click, they can book a video call with you, or they can check your availability without having to go through a long rigmarole process of checking availability, etc., then it's going to be a win-win for you both. The other thing you need to also potentially have is buttons that lead people into other aspects of your website. So for example, taking them to your blogs or taking them to your price menu. Again, one of the reasons why you want to have these clicks and links to different pages in your website is because it gives couples an opportunity to engage and go deeper with your website and spend longer on it. And again, that's really, really good for search engine optimization. The problem with having a website where it puts every single bit of information on one particular page is that there's nowhere else to go. And what you want to do is you want to encourage couples to have a look at your page, yes, grab their attention nice and quickly, but then you're going to want to give them an interesting journey so that when they come back, they can go a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper with your website, because the chances are that actually couples will visit your website about 7 or 8 times before they ever make any direct contact with you. Our second I is for informative videos. Now, informative videos are shown to increase the effectiveness of websites by about 50%. Now, why is that? Well, clearly it's all about the fact that we love videos, we love YouTube, we love getting information from TV programs and from documentaries. It's a lot easier than reading loads of information, and so consequently, even if you might be giving exactly the same information which you have already given in written form, put it in a video as well. Put it onto a YouTube channel, post that and link that and embed it into your website. And that way you're going to, again, do 2 things. One, you're going to better inform those couples that would rather not, read loads on your website, but just click on a video and watch your video instead. But secondly, also, it increases that level of trust, because at the end of the day, client couples are going to want to and need to trust you to launch and start their happiest and probably their most expensive day in their life. And so therefore, hearing your voice, listening to you speak is going to be a really important part of that process. So always include a video. It doesn't have to be highly produced and very well edited. It just needs to be authentic and genuine and all about you. The third N is for nailed down price menu. Now, what do I mean by that? All the research suggests that you need to have nailed down, clear and transparent pricing on your website. Now, why is that important? Well, couples these days are very, very intelligent and savvy online shoppers. If you do not have a clear price menu on your website, they don't know whether they can afford you. And wedding celebrants, to be fair, have a bit of a reputation of being very expensive. And so consequently, if you have clear and transparent pricing on your website, they know whether it's worth contacting you or not. Again, a lot of wedding celebrant training organizations who are about 5 or 10 years out of date would actually tell you, no, don't put prices on your menu, okay? Put just a price from, because you don't want to give everything away. You want to see what they're like and you want to get into a negotiation with them. Well, I think that's utter bad news and not very, very good advice. Instead, what you need to do is you need to have a range of different prices, like a price menu. It's a bit like going into a restaurant and looking at the wine menu. If they only had one wine on offer, you wouldn't be very impressed. But instead, what restaurants do is they offer you a huge range of different wines to choose from the ridiculously expensive to the probably just about more affordable. And what that does is, even though 80% perhaps of all their customers go towards the same sorts of wine, people like to have the choice, and so that's what you need to do as well. So have a range of ceremonies, have a range of different services which offer different prices. And so consequently, by having different prices, if they like what you are offering, if they like your vibe, if they like you as a person, it gives couples a choice about what sort of services or ceremony to contract with you, which they fits within their budget. Again, another good reason why it's really important to have a clear price menu is that it saves both your and the couple's time from wasting with inquiries that are not going to go anywhere. So in other words, if you are too expensive for a couple that's looking at your prices, it avoids them having to give you a contact in the first place. And at the end of the day, there's no point spending time getting into contact with a couple, having a video call with a couple, if ultimately they can't afford your services. Because all that will happen is that they'll end up asking for a discount or telling you they can't afford it. And then you're going down a whole path that you don't want to get into, which is all about negotiating the price for your services. Instead, you need to be really, really clear about what your services are, what you're offering, and how much your services are worth, and you need to stick at it. But instead, have a clear price menu, because all the research from Hitched and Bridebook, who, in my opinion, have really, really good evidence base about the wedding planning journey that couples go on. Their evidence suggests that couples want really, really clear prices. And if you have clear price menus, then it's going to increase the level and the number of inquiries that you'll get. Our last key feature, G, is for get online bookings. It's linked to the last key feature, which is all about having transparent pricing. But what couples also want these days is to be able to do their booking fee and their final payments all online. Now, why do they want to do that? Well, unfortunately, there have been many, many wedding scams and many couples and many stories of couples being scammed out of money from wedding suppliers who basically haven't delivered. And we all know that whenever we make bank transfers these days, that banks are very, very hot on this in giving you lots of different messages to make sure that actually the company that you are transferring money to is a genuine company and that you trust them. And the reason why they do that is because when couples or when you buy anything through a bank transfer, you get no consumer protection whatsoever. However, if you buy via an online website, if you use the standard payment systems like credit, debit cards or PayPal, then basically you are then getting all the normal consumer protections that you get than if you walked into a shop and you bought a product over the counter. So consequently, online shoppers know that actually they want to buy something using safe, secure online payment systems. And there are lots of different options out there. Now, the biggest barrier that I hear wedding celebrants say, I don't want to do that, is because they fear the cost of that. And yes, there is a cost. The cost could be anything from 1.5 up to 3.5% of the actual fee, which goes to the payment bank transfer organization regarding, depending on who it is and what sort of card payment that the customer is using. But the money that you pay for that is an expense which basically is tax deductible as a wedding celebrant. But also, if you're really concerned about it, well then, work out approximately what that fee is going to be and then put it onto your price. Because what the evidence suggests is that if you have an online payment system through your website, you will increase your bookings, because that is what customers these days expect. It's what they really deserve. And also, it's a great way of closing your sale with something called an assumptive close, which is when you've talked about all the features and benefits of what you can do for a client couple, and then basically you finish up by talking to them about your payment systems, about how you're safe and secure, because of course everyone knows that it's not safe to do bank transfers. And what you're doing by that is that you're giving yourself a competitive advantage over other wedding suppliers who are actually still using that old-fashioned payment method. So let's just recap again about those 7 key features for a winning wedding celebrant website. W is for words for mobile. Keep those words brief. I is for inspiring images. Make sure you've got lots of ceremony pictures that inspire couples, with a range of different couples, and not too many couples, not too many photos of yourself. The first N is for new content, with blogs an Instagram feed to make sure that your the content of your website is always up to date, and it helps with that search engine optimization. The second N is for nurturing contact buttons. So make it easy by having lots of buttons to take people to other pages in your website. In particular, the two most important buttons to have is contact me to check on my availability for your wedding date, and the second one is to contact me and book a video call with me. The second I is for informative videos, because everyone likes an informative video, so make sure you create your own and put it on your website, because it will increase the effectiveness of it by about 50%. The third N is for nailed down price menu. Be clear, transparent about all your prices. Let couples look at the menu of different ceremonies that you offer and the different prices that you charge, so you allow them to make a choice about whether they can afford your services. It avoids them going down the route of asking for discounts, and also it means that it saves your time and it saves theirs as well. And then lastly, G, get online booking, because after all, the reason why you've got a Celebrant website is because you want to get bookings for weddings, and the way that you'll do that is that you're making it nice and easy and safe and secure for your couples to place a booking fee with you, and then secondly also to make your final payment. So I hope that's really helpful. If these have been helpful and you like those key features, please give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe for more information, and I'll see you next time.